Hey Right Riders, Keith Wheeler here, back with another video for you. In previous videos, I've talked about how you can use your reviews and the reviews of your competition to actually make a better book, but I didn't actually show you how to do it. I want to prove to you that regardless of what niche you're in, you can use your competition to make your next book even better. And so with that, I'm going to use this handy dandy wheel right here, and I've got multiple genres, multiple types of books in here, and we're just going to spin it and see which niche we're going to go into Amazon and make our book better on. So the niches that we have here is, I've got kids, it's children's books, young adult books, short reads, puzzle books, coloring books, and nonfiction. So again, regardless of what type of book you're putting out there or you're considering putting out there, I'm going to show you whatever this picks out. That's the niche that we're going to go into, and I'm going to show you that we can use the reviews that are on books that are already there and use that information to help us make a better book. So let's spin and see what we got.
A little longer than a few minutes later.
So we've got nonfiction. Okay, so for nonfiction, we'll just pick something. Yoga, maybe we'll do. So we're going to head on over to Amazon. We're going to look in the yoga niche. And again, nonfiction could be any niche that you're interested in. And we're going to look at the reviews and see what we can do to make our books sell even better than the books that are out there. Okay, here we are on Amazon. Again, I'm not in incognito mode because we're not doing any kind of niche research or keyword research or anything like that. We're just on Amazon, and we picked nonfiction. That's what the wheel picked. So we're just going to go in, and like I said, I'm just going to do yoga. And again, it's just an example. You literally can pick any book in nonfiction. It'll still work. So we're going to go with yoga books, and we're going to pick one. Let's say that maybe I don't know a lot about yoga. So I'm going to do a book, a yoga book for beginners. And as you saw, for kids was a good one that popped up too, but we'll just do for beginners. Okay. So we've got this, and the only other thing we need is some kind of note-taking software. So you can use Notepad, you can use Word, it doesn't matter. So we're just going to use Notepad. And what I do is I just separate it into do's and don'ts. Excel is another great software to use for this. Doesn't matter. It's all based on your preference. Again, we're just going to go through, and we're just going to look at the reviews of the best-selling books, because you want to see what they're doing right and what they're doing wrong to try to make your book be able to compete with books like that. So we're going to move this over here for now. We're just going to look, and we don't want to look at the ones that are sponsored ads because they're running ads. So they're not what we're trying to compete against right now. So let's look at this very first one. Yoga's for everybody. So we're going to go in here, and this one is actually ranked 70,000. So it's selling a couple copies a day, and it's got 218 reviews. So that should give us some good information. And if you're not, right here, I'm using DS Amazon Quick View. It is a free Chrome extension that I use. But if you don't want to use that, you just click on the book itself, and it'll bring you up to the actual sales page. And we're going to scroll down. We're going to go right here where it's got the reviews. And it looks like they have only one or two stars. So we're going to look at the 2 stars first. Let's see what they're doing wrong. Okay, so unfortunately, this one, they're just giving ratings. They didn't actually leave any review for 2 stars, so that's not going to be too helpful. Let's look at the 4 stars because they're not perfect, so something must be wrong, right? Lots of great poses with detailed instructions. Okay, so we know that that's important. So in my do's, I would put good selection of poses, detailed instructions. Covers many different aspects of yoga, gives a quick history lesson of yoga to help you better understand. Okay, explains benefits and gives alternatives should one have a physical restriction. Okay, that's good. That's good. So alternatives for physically restricted. Practical and very thorough. The author spends a great deal of time explaining how to do the poses and modifications. Okay. Illustrations are wonderful and include a wide array of body types. All right. A cautionary word to those purchasing this book: the grammar needs some cleaning up. So then what do we want to do? We want to make sure that ours has good grammar / spelling. And then maybe in don'ts, I would put don't skip editing. Okay, that's good. Let's see what this one says. It's handy. My favorite section is of various charts of yoga flows to help with basic stretching. And okay, so this is another one that talks about charts and graphs. So that's important. So we want to make sure we go back up to the do's, and we do want to include graphs with flow, because my guess is that's probably an industry term in yoga. Good read, filled with information and poses. There were a lot of positions that my mother was unable to do with me because she's unable to get on the floor and does not have great range of motion. Okay, so that's a good thing to kind of help us with the do's. So we do want to include, again, we're always talking about physical restrictions, but we want to include variations for those who cannot get on the floor. So perhaps chair poses, etc. All right, let's see the next one. This just says very good. That's not very helpful. I got this for a friend who wants to start yoga. I've been doing it for years. So relaxing and good. All right, so that's pretty much what we're going to get from this one. 5 stars are probably going to say more the same. So we're going to go back and let's actually go to, here we go. We're going to look at this. Okay, so we definitely want to do A plus, which I think you should do A plus anyway, but this is what they're talking about the different sizes, different shapes of people. Okay, so let's put this in here. It's kind of a given, but we're going to say do A plus content, include illustrations. I want to actually look at the category. So here's one. This is for the Kindle store. This is in yoga books. So right here it tells me that the Kindle book is selling better than the paperback, which makes sense because it's probably cheaper. So we definitely do want to consider making sure that we have an ebook version. So I'm going to click on this one, and right here, this one, very first one, it's the first ranked in this category, and it's all about chair yoga for seniors. Well, that right there tells me that I probably want to include for different age ranges, or I might even want to focus my book not just on beginners, but specifically for seniors, because that one, the ranking is 14,000. And so that's selling quite a bit. I mean, it's only 99 cents. So it's not going to break the bank. But again, especially if this is more than, you've got more than one book, then, every little bit helps. So, all right. So this one I might consider, and I'll put this in a maybe consider seniors, even if it's not specifically for seniors, at least including a category or maybe a chapter specifically for seniors would definitely be helpful. Okay. Another thing that I can see without even looking at these books is the first 12 are all in Kindle Unlimited. And so that's something I'd want to consider. So again, I'd go in my dues, and this would go down here, over here by the A plus content, consider KU. I know it limits my reach, but it's showing that people are interested in that. So again, without even looking at the reviews, that's something that I'm learning from my competition without me even creating a book yet. So again, I'm going to go back to the top, and we're going to see, again, let's look at this very first one. I mean, this is the best selling one. So we're going to click in here, and let's see how many reviews they have. 142. Okay, so we'll click on it. All right, so we're going to click on this. Hopefully they got, yep, good. They got some 1 star, so we're going to click on that. Let's see what negative things people have to say. It's just not what I was looking for. Well, that's not very helpful. So what I could take from that is perhaps the book description isn't that thorough, isn't really speaking to what it is. So again, we'll put in here clear book description, which again, just like A plus content is something that I think is a given that you should always do, but sometimes it's hard for people to put into words and best describe their book in a book description. So something that you want to keep in mind. All right, so we're gonna go to the 2 stars and see what they have here. Too few pictures. There we go. So we already have that covered. Over here, good illustrations, include range of body types. Great. The theory behind the workout is virtually meaningless at age 70. I need to view. Okay, so again, this book is for seniors, and so they're saying as a senior, they care less about why this works. They just want to see pictures on how to do it. So again, that's something you can keep be mindful of. This one again just says this is useless. That's not very helpful. This is useless. So is that review. At least the context of it is pretty useless. Okay, the author writes easy seated exercises to shed belly fat. Why chair yoga is an effective weight loss tool for people across all ages. Okay, so basically they're saying that they don't like that this book is making it sound like they're going to burn a lot of calories. So maybe don't mention calories burned, maybe, or at least don't overstate or overpromise. Probably a better way to put it. Okay, so those are those. Let's look at the 3 stars. Easy to read. This chair book, I think it would do in a pinch, but videos on the subject are much easier to follow and keep up with, at least for me. Okay, so that's a great idea. So we can put in our do's, and you might want to consider this a maybe, but this is something I would definitely consider, and that is include links to video demos. Okay, so you can create your own YouTube channel. I know a lot of people don't like to be on, on screen, but you can, you can do animations. There's a lot of free software, AI software, where you can create, yoga poses and things like that in a video, and then link to that video, have it on YouTube, have your own YouTube channel, and you can point them in your book with a link to that particular video so people can see how to actually do it. And so, and again, it also brings in additional revenue if you can get your YouTube channel monetized. So again, that's a great idea. So including links to video demos. I did not get the free audiobook. Okay. So this apparently has an audiobook that comes with it, which is another great way to kind of tap into a different audience. So, this, I would put this in my maybes. Maybe have audiobook. I include audio book versions in almost all my books, but yeah, with yoga, that might be a great way to do it. And you can just have a little bit of music in the background. Again, ideas that you might not have thought of, but you're getting it from other people's reviews. These are paying customers. It says verified purchase. That means they didn't get this for free. They paid their hard-earned money, whether it's 99 cents or $10.99. It doesn't matter. They're putting their money where their mouth is. They're actually paying for it. And so, these are reviews that these people are sharing with us. And so we can use this information to make our products better. As much as this book is in the #1 slot for this category, but if you take all the things that people don't like about it and that people are complaining about, and then you look at all the positives, all the things that people do like about it, and you make your book have everything people like and none of the stuff they don't like, well, then your book is better than that one, and so you've got an even better chance of competing against the #1 slot. And you can even use, especially if you've got something that you see, when you're looking at the reviews, if there's something that's consistently being said that people don't like about this book, and you fix that in your book, well, when you run Amazon ads in your custom ad text, you can say something along the lines of tired of yoga books that have poor grammar, or tired of yoga books that don't show illustrations, things like that, you're taking a pain point that this customer base has, and you're telling them in your ad copy that your book doesn't have it. So again, it's really helping your book stand out and be better than the competition. And you haven't written anything yet. This is just by reading the reviews. My attention span is too short. So maybe this book is too long for this person. I don't recall off the top of my head how long it is. We can look in a second, but that's, that's something to keep in mind. And it's not going to be for everybody, and that's fine. But, this may be something to consider. Try to make it short, sweet, and succinct, especially if if your audience is going to be seniors. They're busy, whether they have short attention spans or they're just busy with life, that, maybe making it more short and succinct might be something that is beneficial for your book. Again, that's not something I would put as a definite do, but that would be something in the maybes. So, especially if you're considering seniors, make short and succinct. All right. So again, we're looking at a couple more, lots of philosophy and advice. The book has a lot of good ideas and suggestions on yoga, as well as diet and mental well-being. The number of yoga poses is less than expected. So again, going back to our do, we do want to include a lot of, different poses and things like that. This is a negative review. This book didn't have a lot, but they're wonderful for people who are struggling with mobility. So again, one of the positives about this book is that they're addressing people that are, have issues with mobility, which again is something in our do's that we learned from one of the other reviews. So again, that's, this is all great information. I just want to see real quick. I'm going to go back, see how long this book is. Okay, so it's 130 plus pages. So it's not super long, but, again, maybe for some people, that's too long for them. easy seated exercises to shed belly fat. See, this is what they're talking about. That one complaint about losing weight and shedding a lot of fat. Probably not something you really want to promote. It also says free audiobook, but not everybody got it. So again, make sure that you're so that would be a don't. Again, it goes back to don't over commit, but also be more of a do. Do make your cover clear and easy to read. Again, that should be something that makes sense, but it should be a given, but not to everybody. Also, I would say don't promise something like a free audiobook if you can't do it. So that would be on the don't. Avoid cover with promotions. And again, that'll just give me a reminder of what I mean by that, by saying, free audiobook inside. I wouldn't want to do that personally, because then if I decide I'm going to stop including the audiobook, then I got to do a new cover with that removed. And that space will just look empty. And so I personally wouldn't do that. So, all right, so that's that. And again, they've got quite a bit of A+ content. To me, it's actually probably a bit more than they need, because it's, they have to scroll quite a bit to see it all. And this chart, this is one of the big things that I like to use. I would actually put this towards the top. I probably would take maybe this one out. I like this one because this shows, the people actually using it. So that's good. But I would take this one out. I think that's just a waste of space. Might even take out this one. That was in Kindle store. Let's look in physical books. So let's do physical medicine right here in the books. Again, of course, theirs is number 1, but it's for the ebook. 6-minute knee pain cure, chair yoga for weight loss. Again, this one's in Kindle Unlimited as well. So let's try again. We want to kind of got a little bit off topic with these chair ones. We want to do yoga book for beginners, specifically for beginners. There you go. Yoga guide for beginners. There we go. 495 reviews. We're going to click on this one. This is specifically for beginners. This is where it's got 101 poses and sequences for strength, flexibility, and mindfulness. And we're going to go down. Let's see how long it is. It's 246 pages. And let's look at these reviews. All right, let's look at the 1 stars. These are the ones that really got the gold in it. It says, great if you're into this sort of thing. This seems very difficult. I would stick with meditation. This is not what I would consider to be for beginners. Okay, so this is great information. Don't get too complicated. Keep for beginners. So again, if we're saying this is for beginners, we want to stick to our promise to our customer. Please don't use this book. My first instinct with this book is that it was garbage. The pose on the front would lead to injury if repeated in regular practices. Here we go. This is where the good part of the review comes from, the useful stuff. This book doesn't offer any insight into yoga that you can't find on Wikipedia. The description and how-tos of getting into a pose are yoga is not just stand straight, bend over, turn left, turn right. Okay, so we kind of already have this covered because we're talking about, let's see, detailed instructions. So maybe we'll put an exclamation on that to make sure that that's something that we really focus on. And just to reiterate it, in our don'ts, we'll say, don't be vague. Thin pages, black and white poses, you really can't control that. I mean, the black and white you can control if you want to make it in color. So that might be a maybe, perhaps we'll do it in color depending on the page count. So maybe do in color. Again, something to think about. It's going to obviously eat into your profits or make the book more expensive. Again, completely up to you, but that's something to think about. Unfortunately, the thinness of the pages really can't control that. That's based on the printer. So based on, whether you use KDP or Lulu or Ingram Spark. So, okay. So those were the 1 stars. Real quick, it looks like there's maybe a couple 2 stars. A little too intense for beginners. This one says, if this is for beginners, I hate to see one for intermediate. So it really seems to kind of bring home the fact that this book is not really for beginners. It's more intense than what it needs to be. Not what I was looking for. Okay. So again, this gives us a lot of great information. And just by looking at 2 or 3 books in this niche, and again, this is not a niche that I'm personally in, but the spinner pick nonfiction, you could do this exact same thing in, for children's books or puzzle books or coloring books or young adult novels, short reads. It doesn't matter. Whatever category you're in, whatever niche you're in or interested in being in, maybe you're just now starting out. and you don't know what you want to get into. Or maybe I want to do short reads, but I don't know where to start. Great way to start is to find a niche that you're interested in and then look at the reviews, positive and negative reviews of books that are already selling out there. Remember, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. The wheel has already been invented. You don't have to write a book from scratch and have no clue what you're going to write. Take the information, the positive reviews, the negative reviews from the competition that are already selling copies, and use that information to make your book better. I'm not talking about stealing anything. We didn't even look at the interiors. I'm talking about what are the customers, the paying customers, saying they love about this book? What are they saying they don't like about this book? And how can you take that information and make it even better in your book? Well, there you go. That's what I mean by taking the book reviews of books already out there and using that information to make yourself a better book. Make your book better than the competition. If you learned something today, it would mean the world to me if you give that thumbs up a smashy. It lets YouTube know to share this with other people. And also, if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to the channel and clicking that bell notification so you get alerted every time I put out new videos, just like this one. And don't let the learning stop here. If short reads was something that you were interested in, but it didn't happen to show up on the spinner, well, here's a video right here all about Kindle short reads. But if you've already seen that video, or maybe you're not interested in short reads, YouTube says that this video right here has got your name written all over it. So I'll catch you inside one of these videos, and remember to write right.